I got over 2,000 death threats from people who used to support me, of course, people who voted for me. People said the most horrible things. We will rape your wife, shoot you, we know where your children go to school, stuff like that. It wasn't the eyes. I really could see what I'd written down myself. Nobody forced me to write this book. Nobody said you have to write this or that. I started writing myself, and I could see it with my own eyes, but I still couldn't accept the fact that I said he is a prophet, there is this one God. I just couldn't. So it wasn't my eyes that were blind, but it was really my heart. I couldn't accept it. I think my nafs or whatever, my ego, I couldn't accept it. And I said, well, God, I don't care if it's the God from the Bible or the Quran, give me a sign or something so that I 100% sure know this is the way. And I went to bed, but when I woke up, I felt very secure in myself. I really felt very secure. I've never been more secure about anything else. The whole anxiety or the whole doubting issue, it disappeared like snow for the sun. And I thought to myself, well, I think I'm a Muslim. Well, and then of course I had to tell other people.
In the Netherlands, the political landscape has often been tumultuous, with the rise of populist movements that have shaped public discourse. Among the most notable figures in this realm was Joram van Klaveren, once a staunch ally of Geert Wilders, the leader of the far-right Party for Freedom, known as the PVV. His journey from a prominent anti-Islam politician to a Muslim convert is a tale of transformation, conflict, and redemption. Joram van Klaveren grew up in Amsterdam, raised in a deeply religious Protestant family. His early perceptions of Islam were largely influenced by his upbringing and the teachings of his church. As he matured, these views hardened, particularly in the wake of the September 11th attacks. The fear and anger that swept through Europe after such events fueled his suspicion of Islam, leading him to join Wilders' party in 2010. In the years that followed, van Klaveren rose quickly within the PVV. He was instrumental in crafting the party's messaging, branding Islam as a lie, and advocating for the banning of the Quran and mosques in the Netherlands. "I did everything," he later recounted. "I tried to ban mosques. I tried to ban the Quran, shut down Islamic schools, forbid the Arabic language in public." Back then, he believed he was fighting a righteous battle against a perceived threat. However, a pivotal moment came in 2014 during a rally where Wilders asked supporters if they wanted fewer Moroccans in the country.
Nou, wat zou het geweldig zijn. Minder Marokkanen in Nederland en ook in Den Haag. Je moet weten dat Marokkanen zitten niet alleen 7 keer vaker in de bijstand dan autochtonen, maar ze zijn ook 5 keer criminelen. 6 op de 10 Marokkaanse jongens, jonger dan 23 jaar, zijn met de politie in aanraking gekomen. En ze zijn 22 keer vaker schuldig aan straatroof en dat soort zaken dus.
For van Klaveren, this was a step too far. "I thought, well, I must leave because now it's becoming an ethnic thing," he reflected. This marked the beginning of a significant shift in his life. He attempted to establish his own political party, but failed to secure a single seat in the national elections, leading him to step away from politics altogether. With a new focus, van Klaveren turned to writing, intending to finish a book he had started years earlier, which aimed to expose the supposed threat of Islam. However, as he delved deeper into his research, he found himself increasingly intrigued by the very faith he had once condemned. This internal conflict became a source of turmoil, especially as he worked at an evangelical radio station, the voice of conservative Christians.
I had to tell my work, of course, and it was this Christian organization. So to say, the leader of the pack, he said, "I can't believe it." And he said, well, I noticed this change when you talked about certain topics on radio. You were kind of a little more mild, not so harsh anymore, but you becoming a Muslim. And after I said, yeah, I became Muslim, he said, I couldn't sleep for it for 2 days. I couldn't accept it. It was so strange.
In a twist that he described as almost fairy tale-like, his bookshelf collapsed one day, scattering the very texts that had fueled his research. As he picked up a copy of the Quran, he serendipitously landed on a passage that read, "It's not the eyes that are blind, but the hearts." This moment of realization was profound for van Klaveren. "I thought, well, yeah, this is really my problem," he admitted, recognizing that his perceptions had been clouded by his own biases. In 2019, van Klaveren publicly announced his conversion to Islam, urged on by a local imam who emphasized the importance of setting the record straight. The announcement came at a time of heightened tension in Dutch politics, and it reverberated across the country. As Geert Wilders appeared on live television, reporters bombarded him with questions about his former ally's shocking decision. Wilders stated, "It's like a vegetarian going to work in a slaughterhouse, roughly speaking. What a story, huh? I actually have no words for it." He made it clear that if van Klaveren had still been with the PVV, he would have had to leave immediately. Wilders has long been critical of the role of Islam in the Netherlands. The reactions from the public were mixed, with many of Van Claveren's former supporters feeling deeply betrayed. Some people were extremely hostile. "I got over 2,000 death threats," he recalled, detailing the extreme measures some took to intimidate him and his family. Despite the hostility, Van Claveren began to reflect on his past and the narratives that had once drawn him to the far right. In 2020, Van Claveren joined forces with other like-minded individuals to launch a Muslim-led foundation in the Netherlands. Their mission was clear: to introduce people to the faith and history of Islam, countering the misconceptions that had long persisted. After visiting over 200 schools, the foundation opened the Islam Experience Center in Rotterdam, aimed at promoting empathy and understanding. "The main goal is to take away misconceptions and promote empathy," he explained. He recognized that during his time in the PVV, he had perpetuated the idea that Islam was alien to Europe. However, as he educated himself, he realized the deep historical connections that existed, particularly in regions like Andalusia, Spain. When asked about any guilt or regret regarding his actions with the PVV, Van Claveren was candid. "Of course I feel ashamed because of what I said. It's not something I look back on happily, but there's nothing I can do about it now," he told the press. He expressed that he now understood the consequences of the prejudices surrounding Islam, acknowledging the impact of his previous rhetoric, noting that a significant portion of the votes received by the PVV in the last election could be attributed to those opposed to Islam. Yet, he also highlighted the broader societal issues that had driven many voters to the far right, such as economic hardship and disillusionment with mainstream parties. "If you really have no money and you see people getting a house that you were on a list for 10 years, whether they are immigrants or not, you feel like, I'm just not important enough," he stated, emphasizing the need for understanding of the root causes behind the rise of populism. As Europe grappled with the resurgence of far-right ideologies, Van Claveren called for a mature response to counter these movements. He shared an example from the Dutch city of Arnhem, where the leader of the Pegida movement had organized a Quran burning. In response, Muslim groups distributed free Qurans to those interested, demonstrating a commitment to dialogue over conflict. "Every time he burns one Quran, we give away 1,000, he chuckled, illustrating his belief in the power of education and understanding over hatred. Joram Van Claveren's transformation from a key player in the anti-Islam movement to a proponent of understanding and empathy illustrates the complexities of belief, politics, and personal growth. His story serves as a reminder that change is possible, and that even those who once fueled division can become advocates for unity. As society continues to navigate the challenges of a rapidly evolving political landscape, Van Claveren's journey inspires hope for a more inclusive future. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Joram Van Claveren's remarkable journey. If you found this story insightful, like and subscribe for more compelling narratives. Leave your opinion in the comments. Until next time.